Security officer work usually means shift work. When you're in a 24/7 operation, that means you might end up working on the night shift, also known as the graveyard shift. But why do they call it the graveyard shift? Well, according to Grammarist.com, the idea is that one is out and about when everyone else is sleeping, and the world is as lonely and quiet as a graveyard. Graveyards and quiet and loneliness, oh my! Sounds like fun. Sign me up! All kidding aside, in this video we'll be talking all about the graveyard shift and how to survive it. We'll cover how to stay healthy, awake, safe, engaged, and more. So let's get into it. My first experience with the night shift was when I was an 18-year-old Army private in boot camp down in Fort Jackson, South Carolina. I was assigned with my battle buddy to pull some of the overnight fire watch in our barracks. Everyone else was sleeping soundly in our pitch dark barracks, and it was very quiet except for some snoring. Perfect conditions for staying awake after a very long and exhausting day. Everything was going well until my buddy asked me to sit with him at the back of the barracks. At the time, I was standing to stay awake. He was like, "Come on, hang out with me for a minute." I reluctantly sat down and bam, we were both out cold. We woke up to the shadowy outline of a very tall, very angry drill sergeant standing over us. Needless to say, I was wide awake after that. Lots of push-ups, jumping jacks, fear, and adrenaline will do that for you. Speaking of alertness, today's episode is brought to you by coffee. What time is it? Who cares? Drink coffee. Most people can't readily adapt to the night shift. But why? Well, it's not natural. You see, we all have this thing called a circadian rhythm. According to the Sleep Foundation, circadian rhythms are 24-hour cycles that are part of the body's internal clock running in the background to carry out essential functions and processes. One of the most important and well-known circadian rhythms is the sleep-wake cycle. Different systems of the body follow circadian rhythms that are synchronized with a master clock in the brain. Sounds nuts, right? A master clock in your brain? Anyways, this master clock is directly influenced by environmental cues, especially light, which is why circadian rhythms are tied to the cycle of day and night. When properly aligned, circadian rhythm can promote consistent and restorative sleep. But when this circadian rhythm is thrown off, it can create significant sleeping problems, including insomnia. Research is also revealing that circadian rhythms play an integral role in diverse aspects of physical and mental health. Now, you're probably thinking right now, it sounds like the night shift is in direct opposition to my body's master clock and my circadian rhythm. You, my friend, are correct. Messing with your body's clock and rhythm can lead to sleep-related problems on and off the job. According to UCLA Health, studies show that sleepiness can have a negative effect on any of the following: attention, concentration, reaction time, memory, and mood. Gee, all those things sound pretty important to the work and effectiveness of a security officer. In fact, they are the keys to being an effective security officer. So now what? Fortunately, there are things you can do to avoid becoming a zombie in a uniform on the graveyard shift. Let's start with some sleep tips. In order to survive the night shift, or worse, a rotating or double shift that includes nights, evenings, and maybe even days, you'll need to prioritize sleep. And sleeping when you're dead doesn't count. Because, well, you're not actually asleep, you're dead. Anyway, one way you can prioritize sleep is to incorporate napping. And no, not while you're on the clock. If you're not already waking up just before the night shift, you should take a nap before you start your shift. According to UCLA Health, a nap of about 90 minutes seems to be best. Also, if you're tired and have to drive home, there's nothing wrong with taking a nap for 20 to 45 minutes in your car, as long as it's safe to do so. In fact, it could save your life. That's because each year, drowsy driving accounts for about 100,000 crashes, 71,000 injuries, and over 1,500 fatalities, according to the National Safety Council. But what about actual sleep? According to the Cleveland Clinic, one of the best things you can do is to practice good sleep hygiene. Good sleep hygiene includes going to bed at the same time every day and making sure your bedroom is prepared for daytime sleep. Also, make sure you can block out all light coming into your room. Blackout shades or curtains can help with this. Keep the room cool and use a white noise machine to help block out all the sounds inside and outside your home that can interrupt your sleep during the day. Don't forget to put your phone on Do Not Disturb mode if you can, and let your family, roommates, and others in your home know not to disturb you. Some officers like to take a sleep aid to help them hit the sack after a night shift, but this can be problematic. Melatonin supplements are one such sleep aid. The American Academy of Sleep Medicine notes that melatonin supplements can help night shift workers sleep during the day, although this does not necessarily lead to better alertness during the work shift. Interesting, huh? But it's important to note that melatonin, like other supplements, is not approved by the FDA. There are also over-the-counter and prescription sleep aids available. Most of the over-the-counter ones have an antihistamine as the primary ingredient, which is the active ingredient in Benadryl. According to Baylor College of Medicine, antihistamines have side effects that include altered mental state, urinary retention, and dry mouth, but these are usually milder in younger people. And they note that while antihistamines can help you fall asleep, overall sleep quality is usually not very good. Sometimes they even have the opposite effect and cause hyperactivity. You can also develop a tolerance to antihistamines. Ultimately, you should consider talking to your doctor about the best sleep aid or treatment for your particular situation. Eating right is also important to support good sleep hygiene and overall health. It can be tempting to eat crappy food when you feel tired and out of sorts, especially when healthy options are usually few and far between in the middle of the night. That's why you never see a 24/7 salad shop. At 3 a.m., nobody wants a damn salad. They want greasy, cheap, and fast food. According to UCLA Health, stomach problems are common in shift workers because they eat poorly and at odd times. They advise that you try to eat 3 regular meals spaced evenly over the course of the day, as regular meal times are important for your body and they serve as time cues for your body clock. These cues help your body know when it's time to make you sleepy. Remember that your body clock is already all messed up, so why not help it get back on track by eating on a regular schedule? And just like caffeine, eating too close to bedtime can make it harder to fall asleep when you get home. Don't eat your largest meal of the day within 3 hours of bedtime. UCLA Health also advises that you should avoid drinking alcohol within 3 hours of bedtime. Sorry. At first, alcohol may make you fall asleep quicker, but over time it can make your sleep worse. It causes you to wake up more often during your sleep period. Also avoid eating a lot of snacks and fast food. Eat a balanced, low-fat diet with plenty of fruits, vegetables, and cereals to help prevent stomach problems. Sounds like fun, right? What about when you're supposed to be awake at work? How do you stay alert and effective? Unless you have a drill sergeant lurking in the shadows, ready to scream in your face just as you're drifting off, you'll need a better strategy. I know many people like to start the night shift with a coffee or some sort of scary sounding energy drink like Rage, Bang, Redline, or Instant Insanity Juice. By the way, one of those is a fake energy drink. Instead of ingesting liquid meth, the Sleep Foundation recommends that you use a more moderate amounts of caffeine every 1 to 2 hours instead of front-loading it at the beginning of your shift. However, be sure to avoid caffeine within 4 hours of your bedtime or you'll have trouble falling asleep. Staying awake and alert is key to both performing your regular security officer duties and is also key to your safety. If you're permitted to take a nap on your 30-minute meal break, try a power nap. That means drinking coffee, then napping for 15 to 20 minutes. You'll get some sleep and the coffee will kick in just as you're waking. If you can't nap to stay awake and alert, here are some ideas for actively and productively passing the time on the night shift. What ifing? What ifing is the process of mentally practicing what you would do if something happened at your site. So if you're sitting at your post or patrolling and feeling bored, give yourself a scenario to work through. For example, you can say, what if I heard the sound of glass breaking in an empty building at night? What would I do first, second, and third? Or what would I do if I came upon an unconscious person in the parking lot? This is a great way to keep you prepared for issues you may encounter and will help keep your mind active. Find the vulnerabilities. You have a unique opportunity on the night shift to find security issues at your site that others may not see on the day or evening shifts. Are all of the doors secure? Are they vulnerable to intrusion due to bad locking mechanisms? What about lighting? Are any lights out in the parking lot? Windows left open? Address and/or report any of your findings per your site's procedures. Help prepare your post or site for the day shift. Are there things you can do to help your fellow officers in the morning? Things like making sure visitor badge supplies are ready, that the post is clean, and that the patrol vehicle's filled up. It might seem like busy work, but you'll be helping others while staying awake and may even get some recognition for it. Patrol, patrol, patrol. If you're not stuck in one place, take a walk when you're feeling drowsy. As always, Avoid being predictable in your patrols. If you're stuck at a fixed post, you can still stand and move around your post area as long as you don't leave it. Now, let's cover some quick safety tips. If you're on the night shift alone, make sure you know how to get help quickly in an emergency. Do you have cell reception everywhere on site? Do you know the exact address of your site? What about radio reception? Can you communicate with your dispatcher from everywhere on site? You should have plenty of time on a boring night shift to figure all of this out. Better to figure it out in advance than in an emergency. Don't be afraid to call for help early. For example, let your dispatcher or police know about a suspicious vehicle when you're on your own and wait before you approach. And remember not to drive drowsy. Last but certainly not least, don't ever say the phrase, "Boy, it sure is quiet tonight." Or any variation of this on your shift, even if it's just to yourself.
Seriously, don't do it.
Ultimately, if you are having trouble working the night shift and it's taking a toll on your sleep, health, and/or overall effectiveness, consider speaking with your supervisor to see if you can move to a different shift. How about a quick review of the key things we covered today? Messing with your body's clock and circadian rhythm can lead to sleep-related problems on and off the job. Be sure to prioritize your sleep and sleep hygiene by going to bed at the same time every day and making sure your bedroom is prepared for daytime sleep. It's okay to take a nap before or after your shift if you need it. Use caution with sleep aids and talk to your doctor about the best options for your sleep issues. Eat healthy and at regular times to keep your body's clock in check. Avoid caffeine and other stimulants 4 hours before bedtime and try to space out your caffeine intake instead of front-loading with instant insanity juice. To stay active and awake, patrol, find vulnerabilities, and do some what-ifing. I hope these graveyard shift survival tips helped you today. Be sure to subscribe to my channel by hitting the subscribe button so you see all the latest and greatest videos. Also, I want to hear from you. Drop me a comment below to tell me what you'd like to learn from my channel or just questions you might have. Until next time, I'm Dave Corbin, and this is From Guard to Pro.